come to you today asking your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of communities. Thank you for those present at this meeting of the American Legion Department of Florida American Legion Riders this day. Be with us and guide us as we make important decisions that will affect all the members of our organization. Bless and guide our chairman and others as they conduct the meeting. Be with our servicemen and women wherever they may be in the world and keep them in your care. And continue to remind us that what we do here today, all that we accomplish is in pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you, for the service of humanity. May all our decisions praise your name, God and country. Amen.
Amen.
Resolution 288, adopted at the 67th National Convention, calls for a designated POW MAA empty chair at all official meetings of the American Legion. As a physical symbol of the thousands of American POWs, MAAs, still unaccounted for in all the wars and conflicts involving the United States. Accordingly, at this time, the Sergeant at Arms will place the POW MIA flag over the empty chair as a reminder for all of us to spare no effort to secure the release of American prisoners from captivity, the repatriation of the remains of those who died bravely in defense and liberty, and full accounting of those missing. Let us dedicate ourselves for this vital endeavor. Sergeant at Arms, please pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah!
Be seated. And now declare American Legion Riders Department of Florida regularly convened. Added, roll call off.
I'm actually going to have 3 roll calls this time. Area chairs: Central, Eastern, Northern, Western,
Here.
Southwest,
Here.
Southern.
Here.
District chairs: District 1,
Here.
2,
Here.
3, 4, 5,
Representing.
6, 7, 8,
Representing.
9,
Representing.
11, 12,
Here.
13, 14,
Here.
15, 16,
Representing.
17.
Representing.
Okay, and out of any of those district chairs, do we have anyone just from District 3 represented? 1. District 7, anyone from District 7?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
At this time, we'll accept a motion from the floor to accept the minutes as posted for our last meeting. I hear a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Mayor, would you like to, you guys do this?
Go ahead. Please introduce our guests.
We have Charlotte Bass, Department Auxiliary, third vice. Very good. And we have Jennifer Cooper here, Project Beverly fundraising chair. We also have Ben Peterson here, who's part of the Heroes Honor, and Brian Pink, somewhere here from Heroes Honor. We have, get this right. We got Daryl Bass, Department, Eastern Area Chairman. We have past PDC Commander Rick Johnson and his lovely wife, Renee. Who is this here? We have third Vice Commander, Michael Raymond Gambler. Second vice. Just for you. First Vice Commander from the Department, Ms. Eunice Butler.
Also, please join me back over.
and several other positions there.
Would you like to escort our commander to the podium?
If he'd like to, he might want to just come walk. I'll get it up.
Here comes sugar.
How's everybody doing? Well, I actually want to come here to say thank you. That was a very interesting ride. Some of you may have heard about it. Not one day out of 7 days, 7 days, not one day did we miss making a circle, a U-turn, or one of those things. It's not all Jim's fault. And unfortunately, we was at this place in Alabama, or was it Mississippi?
We got it.
Yeah. Huh?
That was in Alabama.
That was in Alabama? We pulled into this little gas station, and we walked in and get a Coke, something like that. And the lady was there, really nice. She was really nice. Oh, honey, how can I help you? Honey, how can I help you? Oh, honey, how can I help you? And I walked in for a soda, and she's going, oh, sugar! Why didn't you be honey? Come on now. But no, I want to say thank you for what you guys do all the time. You have broadened the sphere of the influence of what we do in Florida to other states. And other states actually appreciate that and come down to see what you're doing as a writer's unit. You have been leaders for years now. Please keep up good work. I want you to let you go back to your business. I am
Our old ALR department here, of course, we have
For that, we have to take.
Yeah. Bill Moss, our chapel. We're moving our new chapter development. There's something you'll hear more about our committee chair. We've got Bill Margiani here, who was our in-state meeting, right? Bill Hoff, who did a fantastic job getting some things together you're going to hear about. Bill Huggins wasn't on, he couldn't make it this trip. Felt ill. Tim Morris, he's the eastern area. Hey, Tim. Wayne Wooten, hey, say something, Tim.
He's back there.
Yeah, he put something together. Southern area, Wayne Wooten. Southern, Wayne Shore. Please stand, very good. Okay, all right. Striker? Jim Ballard, Western? There we go. All right. We have some things here that we need to probably clear up before we get into the, what is that? Yes, ma'am. Well, want to get into it, I know we talk an awful lot about what we do and all this stuff and where the money goes. Well, this is how we control our cash flow, is what you see up there now. When we start a new year, a new writer year, we put 20 grand into a fund, and that's where our budget starts. And then as with the summit, we're probably about $40,000 in the hole as a rule, because of all, just how the cash flows. Now, last year, we can see right now, we got a balance of about 15,000. But as we move through the year, and then we get into where we go into, let's say, our donation phase, then that's when it grows, and we go from there, and that's how we control the costs. So that we're on top of it all the time, and try to be. The next one, no questions on that. There was something came up, the resolution 5 that came out last year twice, I believe, when they had that added language of common law marriage and that to make it correct. There were some questions about who's qualified to become a writer. And I just spoke to a gentleman, and you must be one of American Legion family members to be able to be a writer. And so that was, I wanted to make sure to clear up that area. And if there's any question about it, you can sure talk to us afterwards or even now. So that's part of something I want to clear up. Patches. Again, wearing a patch. One American Legion rider, shoulder patch, backpackers, is copyrighted, sold by the American Legion Emblem Sales, is authorized and worn by a member of good standing. Okay, that's another thing that is always comes to question of the patch. The patch belongs to the individual. So that individual pays for the patch. That's their patch.
Yeah.
But we still have the ability to go out and suggest in some cases that they're no longer a member, they can no longer wear that patch. So that's something that's out there that was also seems to be an ongoing issue. Would I make?
Oh, they got him in that cell too.
You probably saw it in several places, the official uniform. It's the vest, white shirt, our hat, and this hat. That's the official uniform of the American Legion Riders, so. Please, start.
Can't remember the pages, B or J. Okay, so this is something that has been brought up a couple of times about Snowbird memberships, because there's many of the posts out there who have members that are American Legion's membership in another state, but half the year the residence is here in the state of Florida. So a lot of the posts have already, chapters have adopted those Snowbirds as part of their membership. But what we want to do is we've had a lot of feedback, pros and cons, and some of the pros obviously are listed above. They ride with us, they support us, they help with the fundraising. So those are the things that we look at as to whether or not we want to accept those into the American Legion family. On the next slide, there's proposed language, and I'll give you just a second to look over that. It follows the supporter very closely. So with that, we wanted to bring this before the general membership because it has been on hold and tabled for the last 2 sessions. So Jim, you want to?
I accept a motion to adopt this. And a second?
Second.
Now we can discuss it. Any comments? On the left?
I have a question. Do they need to be a member of the American Legion Riders chapter or other posts?
No, it's American Legion member.
American Legion.
Any other questions on this side? Questions in the center? Danny, right, come on.
Yeah, I would recommend voting no on this. We are a program of the American Legion, the same as the Sons is a program. You can only be a member of one squadron throughout the whole 55 departments. I think we should follow the precedent set by the Sons. Therefore, my recommendation is no.
Just to add a little bit to Danny's thing there, of course, I believe there is a rule that states that if your home chapter does not have a writer's chapter, then you would be welcome to be a member of
Yes.
a secondary chapter. So I imagine that possibly could be an exception to that.
Question, Senator, comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I guess I'm just not understanding this. I was under the impression that members could be a legionnaire at one post, they could be a Sal at another post, and they can be a writer at another
Yes.
post.
No,
You don't have
not
to all
right.
be at one post.
But you can't be a member of two squadrons.
Correct. You can't be a member of two separate, but we have members of Snowbirds that come to our post, they are visiting members.
Yeah.
Would they not be visiting members of the chapters of the ALR? They're not asking to belong to this chapter, but they would be visiting members, so they would be able to,
Tomorrow.
and they're patched.
Not with our, not with your patch up. They have to have their own patch, right?
Patched from their own post?
Of the Florida chapter.
Correct.
Not
That's
So
my
a
question.
little patch, one for when they're living up north,
No.
Yeah.
one when they're living down south.
No.
Any comments, Senator?
They would just be visiting.
If they're right here, that's one issue that's by the vote, by the that they're not a member. That's right. If they're writing as a group with us, you got us over in the writing, and you accept it as no. He violates something, you got something, or they must be your place for hand, because they're in well, you. But their Legion membership is just one. That's right. We don't set this. Now we have to come back, post, and decide what they want. Okay. Anything else? Decide. Outside.
Yeah, I have a problem with it also myself because, say I'm from New York and I belong to the writers chapter in New York, they want to come down here and pick up a patch in Florida. Well, you can't belong to entities at the same time in that. You know, RIM, I'm sure that's in writing and probably pretty bold writing in that behalf. Because if, say they belong to a chapter or a post in New York, but they don't have a writer. To, I think, coming down here, they have to move all their membership to that Florida post to wear that patch.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments?
Still over here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to make a comment, and I think other people have said the same thing. I see no issue as long as they're not a member of another writers group. If they're a member of another writers group, regardless of wherever they're at in the world, if they're already a member of another writers group, I don't think they should be allowed to join a Florida group. Dual membership.
One more. Go ahead.
So I think the one thing that a lot of people overlook is keep in mind Florida is very unique from every other state. We have so many members that come down from all northern states. So many members that potentially will one day stop going back up north. If we sit here and say no now, then when they eventually move down, are they still going to want to be part of us? Are they still going to want to? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a matter of. I completely agree that if they're already a member of another chapter somewhere else, yes. Why can't they wear their patch down here? That makes no sense to switch posts. But if they're not, inviting the snowbirds down and making them feel welcome is only going to help later when most of those snowbirds come down and stay down. So.
Okay, two more. You and back, you have talked yet.
I'd like to comment on your comment there. If they move down permanently, they just transfer to a Florida post.
I understand.
And all that transfers over, so
All right,
transfer right over
we're
there.
going to end the debate. We're repeating ourselves. One more thing. That's it.
One very simple question. What do our parent organizations, the Legion, the SAL, and the auxiliary do with their snow? Do they allow snowbirds? No. There's your answer.
No.
Mr. Ramos, real Jim.
Yeah, I would just like to quote the national bylaws and the bylaws from the Legion that says you can only be a member of one post. So we kind of look at it as the Legion family. The Legion riders should be belong to one unit or one post. Same thing.
All right. Call for a vote. All in favor of section 2?
Yeah.
To allow it. Motion. There was a motion, it was to accept. All right.
Could you repeat the motion?
All in favor?
Hold on.
What?
I want clarification of the motion one more time.
All right. Well, I thought you were going to say it, Tim.
No, sir.
The motion is to accept Articles, Section 2, Number 8, as accepting snowbirds into the department store.
Oh.
And there was a second.
Then there's discussion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
No, show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anybody else? 8? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Opposed?
Opposed?
So carried. Now we'll take a little break with this heavy tension here. Jim? Yeah, there we go. I'm back.
Well, I just wanted to address you to say the 2 years that we had together, we had a lot of fun, didn't we? Yeah. Even with COVID. Yes. You know, in 2 years, we as a family raised $460,000. $460,000. The riders, $300,000. I want to challenge you all because this helps our veterans. It helps our kids to even better that. I'll help you. I'm going to be out there. I'm back again. I can't wait to get started. My wife says, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a bit at a time. She's my helicopter wife. If you know what a helicopter wife is, hovers over you all the time. But we had such a great time. Jim and Beverly, you guys are awesome. The different things we came up with, thinking outside the box and raising money. It seemed like people wanted to give, and you all did. And I sure appreciate it. Like I said earlier this morning in our general session, the power of prayer works. It does. I'm here. Because apparently my wife said I was dead. You know, so they was getting ready to do a DNR on me. But I'm back. I'm back strong. I'm still going. Thank you all for what you do. Continue to do. Beverly and Jim, no matter what negative things you hear or go through, continue to march forward. Please. Because the riders have gotten even stronger. And God bless you all. And I'm behind you 110%. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Future Rider Program is something we really want to cultivate because we want our kids to be involved. They're with us all the time with fundraisers, and we want them to be able to have a program that really matters to them and to us as well. So what we're going to have to do is to draft up some information on that, take some stuff from the SAL and the auxiliary where they have those junior members, and work that in and get the language right, and then we'll have to push that over to department and to the legal portion to make sure that we have all of the liability straight, to see if the form, because you as a parent can sign off on that form to assume that liability as well. So we really want to work on that, and hopefully then by summer we can have a good update for you at that time. The other thing is the rider's manual. I don't know if any of you have seen this. It's old. It says first edition. I think I saw a 2013 document in here, so it's pretty outdated. Bill Musto and I have taken on this project to review the documentation, to delete what needs to be deleted, add where it needs to be. There's going to be resources that we already have on the website, so we'll kind of cull those out, but point to them as well. But we want an electronic version that you can have and hold forever and ever in your possession and not lose it somewhere in a drawer or something. So we're working on that, and hopefully, again, by summer we'll have a good update, maybe have the first draft available as well. And on to new business.
Here we go. There's some things that we've looked back in our files and looked back in our minutes to see if we had recorded some things. We were through whether our dollars could leave the state. We couldn't find it in any of our notes anywhere, anything like that. So what I'd like to do is have somebody propose a motion that all dollars raised by the department, ALR, do not leave the state.
Make a motion.
Second. Third. Any discussion?
How are we going to ensure that happens?
Because we control the dollars. Yeah, it's us.
Where's it going now?
They're all in the state now. But there wasn't a case, in case there was ever a question that comes up and says something we never had voted as membership that we recorded and have it written down. It was out there, we did it probably 4 years ago, but it was never recorded. That's the purpose, just clarification. Sir?
Are there any requirements to donate up to national? No.
Well, I'm just talking about the ALR department as a fund to be raised. Whatever everybody does outside of that, we have nothing to do with that. Any other discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Do I hear any nays? Okay. Second item on that, I believe what you're probably pointing to is here. This has no effect on the Legacy Scholarship Fund. That we have nothing to do with that. But as far as what we just voted on, if you people want to do that, your post wants to do it, you want to do it yourselves, that's fine. The ALR department, as we just voted, our dollars will leave. Other thing is, we want to continue supporting Project Vet Relief, SPI. Do I hear a motion on the floor to continue?
Motion to continue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? All right. You know, like there's going to be an individual up here. Yeah. There'll be somebody up here in a minute that's going to talk an awful lot about Project Vet Relief and about where we are now. I'll let her talk about that. But it is constantly growing. We have Challenge 22 that's out there now that is part of Project Vet Relief. And as the dollars grow, so does the demand on Project Vet Relief. As it stands right now, when we raise money for SPI, that's the fund that stays in. And as one of the vice president of Project Relief, that hinders us when it comes into trying to help veterans overall. We're going to have, if we keep on doing what we're doing, the SPI fund is going to be huge, and the Project Vet Relief fund that we have will be diminished. What what we want to be able to do is give Project Vet Relief the ability to move the funds. So that way it gives them flexibility to better service our veterans in need. So I'd like to hear a motion to fight that.
Motion.
Is there a second? Discussion. Yes.
I got a question. So, just for my edification, so the money goes to Project Vet Relief, right?
The money we raise right now goes to SBI.
Oh,
Okay?
so they can't give it
Which is
to
part of Project Vet Relief.
part of?
Two separate things, two buckets. Okay? So with Project Vet Relief, or when it would, if they're starting to run out of funds or run low on funds, you got this bucket over here, facility need for a vet, this veteran's health.
So,
This will give them the ability and flexibility to move the funds.
oh,
Of course, they will let us know.
I thought one was under
Right,
there,
who?
I didn't know it was separate.
They will let us know what happened, okay? Go ahead.
Sir, is there an amount that we're gonna move, or we get it all?
It'll be as needed, but they'll report back to us, Jennifer will, and let us know when they moved it. So it'll just give them flexibility to be able to support our veterans better. Sure.
What do we spend our money on now for suicide prevention?
Suicide prevention, there's thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, Jennifer, I don't want to steal her thunder, she gets really mad. I ain't gonna steal her thunder, but she'll clarify that. Jabbar.
Do we have an amount of how much money we're voting on moving?
If we want to restrict 2% of whatever's in there, if you want to, whatever you want to do, but it will also be reported back to us as how much money is moved.
So we really don't know how much money we're approving you move.
Not yet, no, because there isn't a need. There isn't a need right now,
We're just getting ahead of the game.
okay?
Wait, correct, can we table that until after Jennifer speaks, maybe?
Should we table it? No.
I make a motion that we table that, this
Stuff.
vote here
Stuff.
until.
Why don't we have Jennifer just come up here? Hold the vote.
All right, so I guess I'll kind of explain a little bit before I go into my actual presentation. But right now, the funds aren't exactly needed for the emergency side of the house. However, we've had all of the funds that come in earmarked for SBI or suicide prevention are restricted for suicide prevention and preventing veteran suicides. We can't spend that money as it sits right now because it is a liability on our bank account. What I think Jim is trying to say is that we have had a tremendous level of support of the SBI program, so the money that we're receiving right now are all restricted for veteran suicide, and the money coming in for the emergency assistance program is not as much as what the SBI program is bringing in. So we want to continue to be able to support the emergency assistance program and keeping veterans in their homes or their lights on or food on the table so that they don't get into the point to where they are needing our mental health organizations that we work with through our strategic partnerships for veteran suicide or anything like that. So I hope that kind of clears it up right now, but what he's saying is that we got a lot of money over here on SBI that we're giving out on a quarterly basis, but we still need to take care of the other side of the house as well. And so he's wanting you all to make the decision that the funds that the riders come in for would be used at the discretion of what the project our relief need is. Right now, we don't need those funds, but if we don't get any additional support on the emergency side, we will have to then maybe rely on those other funds. So,
How much are we talking about?
Is it per veteran or bulk per month?
How much do we have right now?
okay, so, Project Beverly, well, let me just get into this. They may answer some of the questions that you have. Our bank account right now is roughly like $350,000 total for Project Beverly, roughly. The majority, which is kind of close to $200,000, is earmarked for suicide prevention. So right now, we're looking at more money over on suicide prevention than we are on emergency assistance. As I said, for this year, for what we trained for in an annual fiscal year, we should be able to support that with what is currently in our bank account. But after the end of this year, we might not be able to do that if we don't get anything coming in for the emergency side, or that's not restricted for suicide prevention. All right, so let me get into this. So I'm Jennifer Cooper. I guess you guys probably know that now, starting from the beginning. I do work for the department headquarters office. I am the fundraising director for the Legion department. I do however, on my spare time, get to work with the board of directors on Project Beverly. I was hired on back in 2014 to establish the Project Beverly program as a 501c3 under the Department of Florida, so that we could acquire donations from individuals and corporations to support our veteran community at a larger capacity. So that's kind of a little bit about me, and hopefully you have grown to know me over the years. But I am so thankful that I get to work with Jim Wyman and Jim Day as your representatives for the ALR. Jim Day is on our board of directors. Through this year, he has the ability to renew his term if he chooses to or not. Otherwise, in order to come off of our board, he would have to either resign or the board would have to vote him off. So he does still sit on the board of directors right now. But he's not here. I don't know, he has the ability to renew or not. Since 2014, though, our program has assisted 1,006 veterans with financial support, and we have provided nearly $915,000 in emergency assistance. So we have two major milestones that we're hitting this year. We just reached the 1,000 veteran threshold, and we should be in the spring sometime reaching the $1 million mark of financial support that has been given out. Although we did see a tremendous increase in cases from the COVID-19, we are starting to slow down and get back to normal, so we're really grateful for that. We are extremely excited that we did just hire a new veteran caseworker who will be at the office full-time. Her name is Lenora James. I'm not sure if you've seen the PBR booth that's out there, but she is there, or well, she was there. I think she's probably gone now, but she is a Navy wife and a Coast Guard mother, so she's been involved with she has lived the military lifestyle and has had to make several transitions throughout her life. So it's very important to her to make sure that she supports other families like hers go through those transitions. Don't forget the commander has chosen Project Beverly as his charity of choice, and also the auxiliary department president, Wanda Brandt, has also chosen Project Beverly as her charity. This is something that's very exciting for us, as the auxiliary hasn't been involved with Project Beverly since this year from the department level. So that is very exciting for us. However, Commander Brandt has set a total of $50,000 for his fundraising goal, and I'm sure that we'll be able to accomplish that this year from what we all receive. If you are planning an event for Project Vet Relief, please let me know so that we can help advertise it for you. We want to get people out to everything that you guys have going on. So if you let us know about it, we can put it on our Facebook page and put it as a part of our newsletter so that we can get it out to our vet relief advocates as well. Because it all takes us working together to make sure that we reach the fundraising goals that we need to support our veterans in their capacity. Moving on to suicide prevention, which is what you guys all have grown very passionate about, and we're so very thankful for it. Without you all, the suicide prevention program probably wouldn't be as successful or where it is. This past year, we've been working diligently to grow this initiative and creating strategic partnerships. We have also welcomed Dr. Janelle Royster to our suicide prevention committee. She is an expert in mental health and counseling for veterans and their families. And if you saw all the acronyms that are at the end of her name, you'll quickly see that she is here to ensure that we're doing the right thing and heading towards ending veteran suicides. Each quarter, our board of directors will agree on providing funding or grants to our strategic partners to sponsor veterans through their existing programs, or expand their services so that they can reach a bigger audience. The board has set a goal to provide at least $22,000 a quarter to these partners, and thankfully so far we have been able to meet this goal because of charitable efforts contributed by the Legion Riders and several Challenge 22 events that are hosted by the Post. Need to take care of. At convention, we announced the winners for the Unity Ride. And there was a donation that was submitted after the deadline that I was made aware of. And it should not have been included towards awards. So therefore, at midnight on April 30th, Chapter 72 had the most funds raised, totaling $8,119. So I did create a plaque for the chapter for them to take back. So for last year, the top fundraising team will be shared with Chapter 142 because ultimately they raised the most money. It was just after the deadline on the 30th, Chapter 72 had the most funds raised. So is anybody here from 72?
Yes, ma'am.
But ultimately, at the end of the day, our veterans are winning here. I know that this is something that you all take pride in achieving these accomplishments, but our veterans are ultimately reaching that higher level of support from you all. So the competitive nature, I really love it as a fundraising director because you all get excited about it. But also at the same time, we're reaching a larger audience of veterans and providing that support that they need. So a huge round of support. Okay, I think that's pretty much all that I need to update you all. I do thank you for your time, and I hope that you guys are having a Go Fall conference. I'll stay up here with Jim if you have any other questions in regards to what the discussion is that you have before I got up here. So,
Yeah, SPI has been in effect for a few years now. So I would assume that we would, not we, but you would have knowledge of the required funds that need to be maintained under SPI. Would that be a factual statement?
yeah.
Okay, so is there some way we could ensure that the known required funding will always remain in SPI without the board having the ability to
I think
withdraw
that's
below
something
that
good to
amount?
clarify. We would never want to deplete the funds in suicide prevention and move it to the other house. I think we would want to make sure that we have a balanced bank account. And again, this is something that is not needed right now, and hopefully we may never need this, but at least all the funds that come in, though, are restricted at this point in time. So I think Jim is just wanting to allow the discretion as long as, because he's sitting on our board of directors and he's representing the membership as a whole. So as long as he has the influence in that, suicide prevention will never see a zero bank account, or the restricted funds will never see zero. Does that answer your question?
Sort of.
Yes and no.
Because we're thinking forward. Right now, we know the board, but at some point, the existing members are no longer going to be members. And I think the concern is my belt buckle broke. I think we're just looking for assurances that, and absolutely we should be able to move, or y'all should be able to move, the board should be able to move surplus funds from one basket to an empty basket. I think the concern that we want to feel that there will be some mechanism in place to prevent, as you said, a zero balance, right? Somebody coming in and saying, I don't support this program anymore, I'm going to move everything over here. That's all.
Yeah.
One of the things that you heard is right now on a quarterly basis, we give out 22K a year, but 22 a quarter. So that's around 100K that we give out. But right now, we're also, that's with 7 strategic partners. On the flip side of that, they owe us documents before we give them any more money on where the money went. So it's checks and balances to do that. So they want to remain as our strategic partner. They have the obligation to show us where the money went. Okay, so right now we're probably hitting that probably $100 grand a year that we give out of the SBI. Now, there's a couple other strategic people that we're looking at that would be beneficial to try to get our footprint in the state of Florida, because right now we're not all over the place like we want to be. So that would again increase that 22 to probably close to 30, you know, so then that's going to go up. So I hope that explains that, how we budget that and checks and balances in there. So hopefully that cleared that up in fact.
Could we put something in the motion that they could take funds as needed, just so there was a balance, a minimum of $150,000 in that account when we have the gap?
That would be. So.
I think it's all based off of what you guys recommend on how your donations. So whatever you guys dictate is what we do on our end.
I think a lot of us would be really comfortable with this if it had a 1-year expiration. It had to be re-voted on or renewed.
On a year basis. Okay. Any other comments? Go ahead.
What I'm concerned with is so many people donated a lot of money for SPI because they have family members or they have loved ones that they're very close to that had issues or they have lost family members. It would hurt my feelings knowing that I wrote a check to the suicide and now that money that was supposed to help them, because our VA wasn't all too good with them, is being used for something else besides the suicide families. I think both organizations, both are very important, very important. I think they need to stand alone. The money that goes, that I earmarked, that I wrote on the bottom of the check, SPI, stays in SPI. And, or if I write the PDR on the bottom, I want it to go there.
Just one second. Let me make a comment to yours. is that we will foster a son. That's why I got involved in this.
I know.
And the time and effort and dollars that my wife and I put in, it's gonna go to whoever needs the money.
Okay.
If that guy in the PB, the guy in the project that relates side, if we can't give him money, he may make a bad decision when he hangs up.
Okay.
That's why SBI was created.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why, I understand exactly what you're feeling and saying, but as one that's very, very deeply involved in it, I wanna see help all veterans, whether it's suicide prevention, whether it's PBR, or either side.
Yes, sir.
If it means that we say, or change to say that the SBI fund can't go below 150, and they have the obligations to be able to move the fund as needed, and report to us where to move the funds, then we can change that, change it to say that, you know, what the motion is. I'm all for that. I just want to see us be able to give them flexibility to do and perform business. Because right now there isn't a crisis. 6 months down the road, there might be a crisis. We're not in a meeting. We can't give them the authorization to do that. I can't give them the authorization to do that. This would give them, in the future, the ability to do that, whatever that dollar sign is.
So, quick question. What I'm getting from this is basically in case there's a shortage on the project at the lease side and they need the funds. So, we as writers, we always write, especially in April, under project vet relief and suicide prevention. Why don't we take the money that we raised during that month and split it in half? Half goes to suicide prevention, half goes to project vet relief, and pray to God that we don't hit a situation that project vet relief needs a lot of money, because now we're providing to both entities. We're taking care of the entire project with the ground, because that's what we do as writers. Instead of sitting here trying to figure out how much money they're going to take, well, we know we raised $150,000, $75,000 is going to project vet relief, $75,000 is going to suicide prevention. That would be my suggestion, and we wouldn't have to worry about this whole thing.
I think one thing also too, on the medical side, you have to remember, one thing will beget the other. So you have to remember that PTSD or whatever it happens to be falls into the other side, if it's not this.
Tell more comments. New ideas? Go ahead.
Does the separation have to be there? I mean, isn't the SPI, I mean, the guy with the PBR, if he can't get a roof over his head and he can't get a biscuit to eat, that's gonna lead to suicide, isn't it? Almost all
It's how we advertise it.
Right.
That obligates the funds. You have it. Wait.
Are they two separate funds?
Yes.
Then the donations could go either way. So if we donate to Project Vet, or we donate to suicide prevention, that's where the money should go, right?
That's, as we advertise it or publicize it, that's where that's going. That's where it goes. What if we amended the motion to reflect what Jeff said?
Right.
Okay, we withdraw all other motions, then Jeff, will you make the motion?
Make the motion that we split the money between project vet relief
And our
and suicide.
I make a motion, we accept that.
Second. For one day. Okay. And there's a reason why I said that. Okay. But that, what are we, okay.
I make a motion, we accept that.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Yes.
Is there a way to find out if the PVR count gets so low, then that's, when it gets to a certain point, that's when money is transferred over from SPI. But only after it reaches that limit. Is there a way to figure, like, is there a way to put that in there where it gets so low, after it's at this point, that's when money is transferred, but not until it needs to be.
He amended the motion.
Just one more question, one more statement. We also almost lost our son. But I like what you were saying, that and we advertise it as both. That's the point.
Absolutely.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
For the month of April.
Yeah.
That was the reason I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Do you have a question? Tom?
I only
Your war on
just a quick question. So, who is making this split? Us or Project Beverly? Who is deciding that money on this?
We are.
It's how we advertise.
Right.
We did our dollar, 20% split it half to do it.
My only other thought on that is, if they are the organization that is governing both of those things, they best know where the money is being. Plain and simple.
I think Jeff's hit on a very good solution for next year.
Yes.
If the pot is low right now, there's an immediate need, right? Okay.
Anything else? Carl back and forth with arms around it.
They don't want April.
Anything else? Call the vote.
No, I thought you were asking for.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Now just a step back, a step. You know, we compete a little bit, you know? We have Challenge 22, we have the April thing, we have other things that happen during the year, all right? Logistically, sometimes the money gets hung up because we want to hold it all to pay in what month? April. So we can count all of those points, or steel points, what I didn't know. Anyway, what Bev and I have discussed is that ALR department functions, which, like at 382, when they had the riders put on their event, they raised $35,000, okay? And, but it was a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that? Yeah. Well, what the thought is that all dollars raised by a rider organization, whether it's under Challenge 22, whether it's Project Vet Relief, whether it's suicide prevention, all those points will be carried to April and counted toward the trophy. Do you agree?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Oh yeah, you would, yeah. So this is what happens is that they're sitting on these checks.
Yeah.
And stuff they can process and things. So you just send it in and not hold the money. It's happened that people held the money in April, not saying anything about the certain district, but so this way you went ahead and you did it. You turned in your dollars donated to us, so we know who's making the money. So in April, it all is part of the tabulation for the trophy in April. That's what we're saying. I said it a different way.
Just count it all year long.
Our whole year. Anything within the Legion year. Okay? And just like they had a Challenge 22 event, the riders. July to April. No. That's, you get what I'm saying? That way that all year long, you know, instead of bunching everything up into April to do everything, you can have a Challenge 22 event in February and count the dollars raised toward the trophy in April.
Sure does.
Don't you get big checks that come up with that? Here, we'll know who did it, So, at the end of the day, you have to get approved. This way, it would help clarify things, and you're not sitting on checks, and I don't want to come to the end, because that's happened. So if everybody knows that anything that the ALR department or one-year organization does will count toward the trophy name.
That's why we're raising the money to begin with, not to hold on to it.
But they're holding on to it. My point is they hold on to it so they can count a name. If you count it the whole year, then.
If you're doing it for a trophy, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Exactly.
But all I'm saying is that people, that way it takes all the pressure off.
I get it.
Okay. How do you feel about that? Should we have a motion that?
I make a motion, we accept that.
Is that?
I make a motion.
He jumps on that right away.
I make a motion, we accept that.
Okay. You need a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? Oh, welcome back. Any more discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Okay. Motion carries. All right.
Be sure you turn that into me.
What, my name?
When does this start?
Now.
I ain't got the check.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Reading it for the general session, going back to Denny's right, tell you what, it was a great deal. Denny's coming, you gotta stand up, take some more applause of what you went through. But it was a lot of fun, as you can see there from the slide. It was a great effort, it was a great day. It was really great in Jacksonville because we screwed up traffic for a whole Saturday. All the rolling bridges and everything. All right, going on to the Constant Ride. One person I hear said it the best. Where's this is what she states. 5 states, 8 days, 7 different hotels, made it through U-turns, broken bridges, gravel roads, messed up GPSs, unnamed roads, paved roads that end, never-ending burgers, hot dogs, pulled pork, sweet tea, Jim Beam apple, more beer, double trouble hotels, 217 miles later. It was worth it all. The ride was just simply beautiful, and I loved it. Lynn, thank you for that. And there's going to be a surprise coming for those who wrote. I'm not allowed to say anything because it's written in invisible ink here. Good to be here. Reporting.
My turn to get on my pedestal. Okay, officer reporting is one thing that I really want to touch on. As of October the 29th, we had 82 chapters out of 133 that has reported. It's a very short report. Who's your director? What's the email address? Assistant director? When's your meetings? Those sort of things. Real quick questions. The reason why this is so important is this is the only way that your chairs are going to be able to communicate with you as to what's going on out there. Because what I hear all the time is, well, I didn't know about that. Well, where was that at? Nobody told me. Well, you're probably not on the email list, so please go out there and do your officer reporting so we know that you exist, and we want you to join in on all of the festivities and activities that we're holding. So it's really important, too, to continue tracking your miles and hours. You know, we've been doing a lot of training on this, but it's important. And I'm going to wrap all of this up into something in a couple more slides, but this is why some of these things are so crucial. And remember, donations, those are cash donations, not donations in kind. So keep track of those as well. So here's a really quick slide. The next few are going to be quick. I'm going to save this presentation out on the website so you can refer back to it. So again, so many people do not have any idea what area they belong to, what district they belong to, what posts are in what districts, what posts have chapters, etc. So that's a really quick at a glance, but here's the northern area. Just give you a second just to look at that. Again, I'll have this out there. But you can see in some of these districts, there's very few chapters. 4, maybe 3, 1, 5. So all of they vary by area and district. So again, I encourage you, once this is posted, for you to go out there and see exactly what area and district you belong to and what other chapters are in your area. As you see, District 2 has 1. This map here, some of you may have seen it if you reported for merry-go-round or round robin. This was a little aid to show you exactly what districts some of these chapters were in. It's pretty small here, so obviously you can't read it, but this document is, again, out on the website. So it also gives you an opportunity to look at the posts that may not have chapters. Go visit them. Maybe they want to start a chapter organization and they just don't know how to do it. So I encourage you to get out there and visit these posts as well. One of my favorite subjects here lately. Boy, have I gotten some emails on this one. And some of them were very nice. Some of them were very challenging. This is a game. Let's not make it any more complicated than it has to be. Now, I understand there needs to be a few clarifications, and during our chairman's meeting, we discussed this. So we're all going to get together again, and we're going to fine-tune a couple of these rules. Again, it's a game. It's not a competition. But some of the comments that I've heard is just kind of out of this world. So I encourage you to just play the game. And what is the game for? You guys are riders. You're supposed to like to ride. I've heard a couple of people say, well, you can't come into my district and take my plaque. You're not a part of my district. Well, golly, if I was that one chapter that had 3, what am I supposed to do? Play merry-go-round? Just go to my other 3 chapters? I mean, that's crazy. So, yeah, District 1. District 2 has 1. Where do they go? The other frequent question I'm asked all the time is, well, who has a plaque? Well, we rolled this out again at convention. We rolled out a page for registration. Every week, a report is pulled for me. I send it out to the chairs. They distribute it, I hope. But if you're not on that mailing list, you're not going to get it if you haven't done your officer reporting. See how it all ties together? So, 33. And I know from Facebook, there is a heck of a lot more chapters playing because I see the pictures. So let's get out there and register so we know who's playing the game. Here's the rules that are currently on the website. Again, we'll take a look at them and we will definitely fine-tune and hopefully clear up any of the questions that may be out there because I've heard a few. And we just want to make sure that everybody's pretty much playing on the same page. Another thing I heard was, well, it needs to be 5 bikes. It's supposed to be 5 ALR members. That includes your supporters. That includes those who are unable to ride a bike anymore due to a disability. So what do we want to do? Cut them out of the game because they don't ride a bike? Come on. Again, it's a game. We play Biden. It's a game. Little joke there, sir.
Go Brandon.
No, Brandon. No,
All
Brandon.
of that too.
Beverly, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I belong to a chapter that's a little lacking. My problem is, I feel as a member of that chapter, sometimes I'm not sure what I can and can't participate in because my director and secretary may have not submitted their reports or registered their fund. So as a member, can I do that? Can I get us caught up in the department like we're supposed to be?
Sure. Sure.
That's
I don't care who reports it.
Myself
You
and
know-
other members of our chapter are like, well, what are we supposed to be doing?
Yeah, if you go out to the website and it doesn't have to be the director or the assistant director who does the reporting, your adjutant, your treasurer, it could be, if you're a member, I don't care, so you get the information. Yeah, so, for my opinion, anybody can go out there and do it. Department documentation, you kind of heard me preach about this a couple of times. Department it doesn't have all of the records on file for all of the chapters. There are reports that are sent out to the district chairs, to the area chairs, and again, if they don't have your email, they can get a hold of you. But what we're looking for is your original startup letter. Some of you, again, we have a whole report that has been put out there to everybody. So check with your chairs, are you on there? And get this done. So if you don't have the startup letter because we know that there's been fires, there's been floods, there's been paperwork destroyed, there is a supplemental document out there for your current commander to sign to say, we do recognize you as a chapter, and that will suffice. The other thing is the charters or startup members. Again, the charter members are those who originally started the chapter. Back in the day, a charter was not issued, so we want every chapter to have a charter hanging on their wall. But without all of this paperwork, it's not going to happen. The SOP Acknowledgement Form. I'll show you a statistic right now of how many I have. Standing rules, got the same disappointing number. And those have to be reviewed every year. And of course, the charter is the last part of the documentation.
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years for your standing rules.
Yeah.
So right now, SOP acknowledgement forms, I've got 34 out of 133 chapters. The SOP is the department SOP that is to be followed, not followed by your post-standing rules and bylaws. Those do not govern the writers. The SOP from the state of Florida does. Just to clarify that. The standing rules, I got 22 out of 133. You see my little sad face? Help me, please. All of this matters because remember we modified the chapter of the year. The modifications that we made, instead of a narrative for somebody to just send in a piece of paper, which only was like 1 or 2 chapters. We want to be able to award that chapter who has done outstanding work. Did they participate in those department events? Did you do all your reporting? Because now we'll come up with end of year reporting down the road, and all those numbers that also should be turned into your post-action for your CPR. Your miles, hours, donations, they all count. So what we'll be doing very soon is updating the page right now that's on the website with a little bit more information and ways to go where we're going to be reporting this. So please encourage everyone to do these because they all count for points. And it doesn't matter your chapter size. This is a mathematical calculation. The smallest of chapters could end up being the chapter of the year. The website content, there's so much out there. And I do get stopped by a lot of people that say, wow, I never realized there was so much out there. We've been working hard to keep it up to date. There's a few changes that are on the way. Again, like I said, I'll be updating that chapter of the year page. And we will be removing most of the content off of the summit so we can start working on the 2022 summit content of the presentations. So there may be one or two items that will stay, we'll just move those under resources, some of the backup supporting, but the presentations will be coming off after fall conference. So if there's anything out there that you may want to refer to, you might want to grab it now. So a lot of you too have asked me about pictures. You know, how do I get my pictures on the website? Our webmaster is Carrie, and that's her address there. And if you will email her, tell her what the event was, send her some videos. I would love to see the POW video out there. And so we can get out there, because a lot of times if you go out there to the website, there's like 2018, 2019 pictures. There's just nothing relevant because we need them submitted. So if you have a lot of pictures you'd like to get out there, that's the way to do that.
All right. Got a few more things to get through, and we'll have a guest come up here and give a fantastic presentation. I want you all to enjoy the our annual summit. Jeff, you want to address the hotel, tell them all about it, or you want me to stumble through it?
You gotta write notes. You gotta write notes.
Summit this year, as you can see, is going to be at the Holiday Inn Resorts on 535. It's right outside the gates of Disney. I did post a link about an hour ago on the Florida Riders page where you can go and book your rooms. It's already open, and I think we're going to get that on the website here shortly. So go ahead and get your rooms booked. We got a couple of cool things. If you remember the way the hotel was laid out last year, we were kind of separated by the pool and everything like that. Well, this hotel is smaller in size, has about 600 rooms, and it's laid out kind of like where we are right now, only the pool's in the middle. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Beer prices are really good, food prices are good, and room prices are good. Breakfast is included with your room. $99 a night, $99 a night, and you each get breakfast in your room. A real breakfast, not cereal. It's meat, eggs, cheese, everything like that. Meat, lots of meat. And then, of course, we'll have the entertainment. One nice thing this year with the entertainment is we've already got it agreed upon in the contract that if there is bad weather, like we were expecting this past year, the bands will automatically be put into the main ballroom where we can bring our own refreshments and everything like that. Joe is planning 2 nightly rides, right? 2 nightly dinner rides. We're not going to do a dinner ride on Saturday night because that's going to be the big hurrah, big shebang, and finish it up. Anything else? I think there's 4.
On the 3rd to the 6th, 2022.
Yeah, there's 4 right now, but we're still working on getting a couple more. So.
That's the round robin. Something different.
All right, so 535, if you're familiar with 535 in the downtown Disney area right there, by I-4, you know the traffic can be a little bit hectic. We have made arrangements because Orange County Sheriff's Department is on site at the hotel, so they will be providing vehicles every night to shut down the road so the bikes can get out and go for a ride. Anything else? What's that? All right. So while we were on the 5-state ride, my phone was blowing up every day, just about. Joe was pestering me to get the route. Yeah, right. It's pretty much like that. I need money for my electric bill. So we did get the state rally finally located. You'll notice on the slide. It is going to be at the Orange County Chapters Roadhouse in Clearwater. Absolutely. They have donated the entire property to us for the day, along with Bert's Barracuda, Harley Davidson. They're going to be
big celebrity who lives out in the area. If you remember back from the 80s and 90s, he's got long blonde hair. Yeah, right? So we are working on getting them out there. But the cool thing is the owner of OCC is an actual veteran. So he is very, very, very supportive of what we're doing. So he is making arrangements wherever our hotel is out in Clearwater. We will have a full police escort from the hotel over to the OCC for our rally. It's gonna, should I let that count?
Straight ones.
All right. All right, I'm done.
It's Joe's turn. Yeah. You don't see your slide list?
Huh?
Joe, you're on video.
Script. Believe it or not, I do use a script. Okay, so I'm doing the in-state ride. We're doing east and west side. We're leaving out of Lake City. We're leaving out of Lake City. It'll be a 5-day ride, I believe. So I'll pull it up here. We're going down east. We're going to leave Lake. One leg's going to Jacksonville and then coming down 1-ish, and the other is cutting over to the Old Town area, and we'll then follow whatever road is on the Gulf side. We're trying to keep it as scenic as possible. No highways except one maybe. We are crossing the bridge in St. Pete. That will be the highway. At some point, the west side will get onto 75 in order to cross that bridge, and then they come right off and start weaving their way down to Gambler's Post, Jessica's Post, Naples, like that. I'm sorry, I've got to pull this down there somewhere. Any questions? On the East Coast ride, there is a unity ride patch being offered by District 11, okay, through Boca. Boca's, I think, is going to be the last stop. Going through their district, and I'm working on maybe hooking something up to the west side. I've been talking with some people.
Yeah, talk to 266.
I have sent this ride out at least a half a dozen times to area chairman and district chairman, and I've heard back from 3. I've talked to 3 more now up in the hospitality room, but there's another 15 of you that if you want input, I need to know by tomorrow, okay? And if you want me to email the route to you, let me know also, okay? So, okay, looking at the west side, first day, 6 stops, ending in Brookville. Second day, ending in LaBelle. I'm sorry, no. Second day, ending in Port Charlotte. Third day, ending in Naples. And then on the 4th day, they're gonna come across to LaBelle. And on the 4th day, the east side is doing the same thing. We're gonna leave Boca and come across Alligator Alley, basically, and we're both gonna meet up. Once we both meet up on LaBelle, we're going to be going up to Okeechobee and into what I call the Ridge, which is 19 and 17, or 27 and 19. 27 and 19, going through Winter Haven area. Lake Placid. Lake Placid. We're going into Lake Placid. Well, we're going to Avon Park.
Avon Park.
For sure, off the top of my mind. I don't think I got Lake Placid on there as a stop. Well, let me look here. Arcadia, for the west side, run Arcadia, Wauchula, Bartow, Lakeland. Spending the night in Lakeland, and then the east side will be spending the night in Winter Haven that same night, and then both legs are going to meet in Claremont and join again. And at that point, we're going to zigzag our way toward 138 and spend the night in Tampa, party our keisters off at 138, and the next day, law enforcement escort to the rally at OCC. That's the way the run is running, okay? So I would, let me know if you want to see this. I really would like eyeballs on this. I actually excluded a whole day of riding, and it was, oh, it looks great. Oh, I love it. Excellent. Good job. And then I needed to turn it in official. I'm like, Nobody else clued me in on that thing, you know what I mean? So eyeballs, I need eyeballs, I need brains, right? Thank you.
You know, I kind of pushed Jeff out of here, but he had a real important part to make, and that is, what does the rally cost? Nothing. It's free. It's free for us, so that's a good thing.
Except for your lunch.
But you're gonna charge us.
Huh?
Was the lunch free?
Oh, you got it, for sure. No charge for getting around.
It's free.
You charge off.
All right.
Required.
So I wanted to talk a minute about succession planning. You know, change is inevitable. And there's a lot of talent out here in our writers community. And we need to identify our future leaders. We need to establish a training plan. Gemini is not going to be around forever. We have committed ourselves through 23-24. Through Gambler. Thanks, buddy. So, we have got to look at the talent around us. And the best way to do it, the what we have looked at, we need people that's committed to the program, that have good communication skills, they have the time somewhat. We all say, well, I work a full-time job, I don't have time. Guess what? I work a full-time job. And I still have time. It's what you want to do, it's what you want to put into it. And we need your help, we need your expertise. Some of you are so talented with webmastering and planning and, you know, helping Joe to make sure that all of these posts have our food ready when we're there, to make those phone calls, to, you know, 2 people. We've grown this program, but it takes more than 2. And we have recognized that big time. A few more gray hairs there than it used to be. Oh, that's right, crowing. Oh, that's a new word, huh? So again, we want to share some of those responsibilities. We want to put together these successful events and to tap in the talent that we know that we have out there. So what we'd really like to do is, if you're interested, please let me know, let Jim know, and we can start working together. Because our vision is, and we've actually started this year with Joe with the in-state Unity Ride, and Jeff is our event coordinator. I think Joe may be stepping his toes into the summit a little bit.
We have enough.
I think the cat's out of the bag. So we just want to come together. Jim and I will be there. We will mentor you. We will make sure that you know the job. In that last year that we're here, we kind of want things to be formed, and that we are there more in the background to help you and to make this program continue to grow. It takes all of us to make it succeed, and we work together. What can we accomplish when we do that? It's phenomenal, and we've seen that over and over again. So please, if you're interested, if you have a specific talent or you think you're interested, you know, just come and talk to us, because we would love to hear from you. Having said that, there was a marvelous idea that came forward when we were talking about this. Currently, as the adjutant, I use my personal computer, which is also my work computer. And I'm sure one of these days I'm going to be asked as to why I have all this stuff on my computer, because I'm probably against policy. So it was suggested that perhaps that we would want to purchase a laptop.
I make the motion.
I second it.
And that way everything can be loaded down on it, and then it can travel as it goes. Because what I do, I just use the files, I upgrading and it continues, so there's a lot of history there. I think when somebody saw my laptop, they thought I almost had a heart attack there. But I guess you have to take over this business part here.
We have a motion on the floor to purchase a computer, I guess, but the 1,200. Yeah, not to exceed 1,200.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Aye.
Any discussion?
Should there be anything in addition to the laptop, like, storage hard drive?
Printer.
Could you get a computer, storage, and a computer all for under $1,200?
Not a Dell. Not a Dell.
But I got
No.
real oil 1,500?
Black
Sounds better.
Not to exceed 1,500?
No shopping on Black Friday.
Okay. All right, we have a motion to purchase a computer, printer, and
Software.
software. And several hundred, 1,500. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed.
I might not get tired.
Hey, we got
Got the cops.
And Danny, I thought you were the only one with your talk out today.
Hey, just wanted to remind you guys, wake up. In just an hour, less than an hour, the fun will begin. All right? Should be having fun right now.
Get away from me.
That's not what you were saying last.
I do want to say, last time that Willie came out, he had an accident. That's what happened. So, he's one-eyed Willie now because. On the hospitality, decided to dance his face off and his acting. So, just treat my, you know what? Anyway.
All right, we want to give you a sneak peek of a couple things we've already talked about, just to give you a visual. So there is going to be a gun raffle again this year. And Jeff again is in charge of this one. And all of those proceeds will go to PBR SPI. We raised $10,540 last year, and that was only like in about a month and maybe a half. The sales, he's going to be getting those tickets printed up, so he will be distributing those to the district chairs, and we encourage every chapter to purchase some tickets. And if you just invest in $200 worth, that's what, 10 tickets? You can have an investment of $200 with a gun and turn around and auction it or, raffle it off and make, $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000. So it's a worthwhile program, so be on the lookout for those and make sure you tell your district chair that you definitely want to get involved in those ticket purchase sales for the guns, and there's 3. Yeah, what are they?
An AR-15 and then 2 handguns.
There you go. Okay. And there's that sneak peek of the ride that Joe was talking about.
That looks about right.
The other thing that, connecting with the ride, we gotta get going here really quick here. is that communication seems to be an issue, and that we've discussed this a little bit about we'll need 2 sets of comm units to go on the 2 different rides. Again, we're thinking around $1,500 not to exceed that would belong to the ALR department. So, I can make a motion to purchase 2. Second discussion.
Purchase a set of headphones again.
One more time.
I said I make a motion that we purchase a new set of headphones again.
Okay. All right.
There's 2 sets, right?
2 sets. We got two rides. All right. All right. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, move right on. Oh.
Here's some pictures that Jeff took while he was at OCC Roadhouse. Just kind of gives you a glimpse of just how big this place is. It's big. It's really big. It's really nice. And a lot of the local folks have been there, and it's phenomenal. So this would be my
It is phenomenal, phenomenal. Food's great, absolutely great.
I don't know where the sound is. It should be plugged in.
Well, somebody might not see it.
We all heard about it.
That was a fellow Marine there who helped me put this into the presentation.
She didn't show me the last 30 seconds of that.
Where's that guy's bike? Come on. I mean, even Top Gun had a bike.
It'd have meant more if he rode her out on a Harley.
But he was naked.
I don't want to steal their thunder. It's something that they have a passion for, and I think that we need to share in it. Heroes honor, engage in destiny. You gentlemen who represent a group of people that you want to hear about. Mr. Peterson is behind me.
My name's Ben Peterson.
Let's go, Brandon!
It's a blessing to be with you all here. As you mentioned, I'm from Minnesota, so we're just soaking up all the freedom down here, getting rejuvenated so we can get back out into communism. Thank you. No, thank you all for taking a minute to listen to what we're doing, why we're doing it. I joined the Army in 2004 after and
Go Navy.
I was 17 when I joined. Do we have any 17ers that volunteered? Anybody? Yeah, go. 17ers. I had to get mom to sign. That was tough, wasn't it? But I went to Iraq 2008, 2009, and was stationed at a base that we nicknamed Mortarita. And it's not because we were drinking margaritas and listening to Jimmy Buffett, amen? had quite a year, and then I came home in 2009, and this was after protesters had begun showing up at Iraq veteran funerals, if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
Over 100 funerals were protested, and it was a beautiful time where a group of men and women rose up. A lot of them were Vietnam veterans, and they said, never again are we going to allow what happened to us happen to our sons, to our daughters. And so I walked off the bus, and I turned the corner, and the first thing that I saw was 100 Vietnam veterans lined up shoulder to shoulder, holding the American flag and guarding my welcome home. I never knew that moment would mean as much to me as it does today, because we passed through those men. And in the military, we're big on honor and tradition, right? Ceremony. And fast forward to 2016, I founded the ministry, Beneath Your Destiny, and it was really a ministry of how do we engage with military veterans and their families so we can lead them into their destiny. Which destiny can look like, getting a veteran into a great program, helping them find their faith. And so we've seen over 4,000 soldiers give their lives to Jesus on bases, and veterans as well. You can clap for that.
After watching that crappy firefighter shit, now he can't get it to work?
Yeah.
This Air Force is only good for one play a day.
That's what we're doing.
Like generations before them, when duty called, they answered. With unflinching bravery, with a hero's honor. But when they returned home, they were not met with a welcome. In fact, they were shamed, blamed, and rejected. The ripple effects of this are still felt by the veterans and their families today. And yet, despite the rejection, they still became guardians of honor for all those who served after them. Like true heroes, they never again allowed other warriors to be dishonored. As a nation, we're coming together to celebrate and honor these heroes the way they should have been honored 5 decades ago, at the largest celebration of Vietnam veterans ever assembled to recognize.
We'll get there. Get pause and play.
At least it's possible to wait.
What's that?
I said at least it's possible on the correct uniform.
Oh, there we go. Well, so my friends, we're hosting the Heroes Honor Festival at the Daytona International Speedway. This is going to be the biggest, baddest, most patriotic welcome home in American history. These men and women- Everyone that attends this event is going to crown red, white, and blue when they leave. You know what I'm saying? So please don't share this. I'm not allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Toby Keith is our headliner. I do have a meeting with Dolly Parton in a few weeks, so we'll see if we can But again, don't share that. But we're going to be having military flyovers, B-1 bombers, we're going to be having parades. This is long overdue. And it is our mission to make Daytona so successful that we then partner with NASCAR to take it across the nation for the largest movement to honor and heal veterans in the history of this country. So, we have several partnering organizations that are part of the follow-up of this event, so that every veteran who attends this event, from a 9/11 veteran to a Vietnam, World War II, Korea, is going to be followed up with one-on-one to see how they're doing and where they're at and how we can help and assist them. In this country, we do not have program issues. There's over 45,000 programs in this nation that heal veterans, yet the suicides are getting worse. We have an outreach issue. We need to go get the people. And so I'm asking you to partner with us and to work with us so that we can honor our veterans, we can welcome them home, and then we can get them the healing that some of them desperately need. Amen? Amen. So I have with me my partner here, Brian Pink, he's our mobilization director. That is his email, brian@engageyourdestiny.com. So the Heroes Honor Festival is going to be free for Vietnam veterans, and there's going to be a ticket price for all those who are going to come and support. There's going to be follow-up from this, obviously, from Jim, Vietnam veteran, with details of how you can get involved and how your hosts can get involved, how your friends get involved. Honestly, we just need you to get the word out. Get the word out. If you know a Vietnam veteran, invite him to this. If you have the capacity and ability, we'd love to have you there to support, buy a ticket, and come and be a part of this movement. Thanks so much, you guys. God bless you.
You think we can do that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we got a Q code on here. Y'all know what that is? Okay, just teasing. So, take your camera, put it in front of the Q code, that'll get you where you need to go and get more information, okay?
You do have a Facebook page.
Got a Facebook page. Now on the website right now, you can purchase your ticket. Vietnam veterans can submit their information. We're really pushing for we're going to go live in a major way on Veterans Day. That's our big push. And then of course the event is Memorial Day weekend on the 27th and 28th of May. Thanks, guys.
When I get information, I'll go ahead and pass it out to everyone and keep moving. I think it's a worthwhile, obviously very worthwhile.
You want your stuff there?
Yes, please.
Okay, Joe.
Pretty soon. Here we go. Get close to beer time. Okay, the next slide, you'll see something, it'll say Department of Ed summary, merry-go-round, 9 districts participated in Children and Youth Ride, and we raised $10,792. Again, there's a question on, do we want to continue giving the dollars, children and youth? Do we want to continue doing that? As a question, to update our minutes to see if that's what we want to do, because that's what we always done. But also some other things came out today after the slide was put together, talking to Les, more or less, but anyway, talking to Les, our chairman, that there's ways that we could work through the children and youth program that may help us and try to achieve some other opportunities, such as last year at a rally, if you remember right, wrestler there. His son has, help me good, nonverbal autistic, and he had asked if we would help him. He would also return the favor and help us through the WWE. So if there's a way that we can work through Children's Youth Program and send to them, the way I understand how it works is that they would have to apply for a grant through the child, through the program, and then they would decide whether or not they would issue the dollars to them. Is that something that we would want to be interested in? Did it go that way? Right now, we go in and we send money to children and youth. Actually, the money is sitting there. All we've done so far is sponsor their picnic. We have probably, round numbers, probably 12 grand sitting in that account. And it needs to be dispersed to them. And I'm looking for somebody, or a couple of people to maybe research that and work with Les on how we can do that and see what all is out there. I know you brought up the brochure, and there's several things there. Other different programs and how we could help the kids and help us to get our name out there and do other things.
What about Special Olympics?
Special Olympics, absolutely. I mean, that's something that are all options. Well, I guess what I thought was that if we could help out an organization like WWE, they would come back and help support us on the backside. That'd be win-win for both those organizations. So, but we're looking for somebody to research that, a committee. Yeah.
So currently, right now, that money is sitting under merry-go-rounds for the ALR. I thought you donated that money to children.
We have not donated it. No. It's sitting there. It's sitting in that account. And all we've ever authorized to support was the picnic. Because see, some years we would raise $4,000 or $5,000 and it's not there. So the bucket has grown. So is there anybody out there interested in researching that, Daniel, or researching that after you get your belt fixed? Committee?
Mary.
Just thinking. You didn't hear me? The different options under the program, children and youth, of different ways we can go and how to disperse that money.
I'll look into it. I'll be reported.
Yeah. One of the things we've already voted is that our money stays in Florida, so it would have to be an organization in Florida.
So we need to find a list of all the programs under where the money stays.
Right.
And for the presentation, that's outside which one you want.
There you go.
Okay.
Kind of making a group effort, you know, like a team. Thank you. Anybody else want to join the team? We got two other individuals over here. Are you ready for a question, or you're on the team? You're on the team?
Snowball Express.
Yes.
Snowball. Yes.
Yes.
Right. See, I don't, see, it has to be under a recognized program of children and youth. I don't know what it is. That's the thing. So anyway, we'll get that figured out. Here.
Yeah, I think what we're driving at here is, when we do the round robin, we know exactly what we're doing. We're writing and we're picking up money for veterans suicide prevention. So the merry-go-round is a little vague. So what we want to do is try to, focus on efforts so we all know what it is that we're really trying, to raise the money for. And I think if we have that better efforts, then we'll know maybe we can raise a lot more money. Sorry about the pink background. This is what happened when we first came in here. The AV guy did something special, but he's not here, so you'll have to bear with the pink. Are we ready to hear what the results are for the merry-go-round? Oh, first of all, do we have any donations that anybody wants to present before we go forward? No. Beverly can't calculate that much real quick. So if you have any donations you want to come up, we'll do that first real quick before we announce the winner.
I'm David Fry, the director of 101 Bushville, Florida, District 6. From our post 101, I've got 4 checks here for the Children and Youth Fund of $900, totaling $900.
Anybody else? Drum roll, please. In 5th place, District 16. I have to say, this was really their first year of participating, and I think they really did a good job to come in the 5th place. Remember, we had 9 districts that participated. 4th place, District 1. Oops. 3rd place, District 6. Second place, District 5. First place, District 5.
Jim Howard, want to come up and present that trophy? Want to present them with the trophy? No?
As you may recall, District 1 held it last year, so we're going to put them on the spot to give it up.
Jim Bowers, Vice Mayor, Riders Chair, and I demand a recount, recall.
So, I just gotta say, I can't take any of the credit. I got an awesome group of people behind me. Y'all, Bonnie, Steve, Andy, Tom, everybody. Of course, the bird. I don't know what to say. These guys are awesome.
Yeah, come up to see our appreciation room that we still have from Round Robin 6067. Come on.
Nothing until it's put on the website. Robert's not a director, and I'm not making a plan. I guess it is. I had no knowledge that he was doing
While they're all there arguing with each other, trying to stand in front of each other, you know. On behalf of Bill and I'll tell you what, we appreciate the support, God support. We actually have fun doing this. Sometimes we get it, you know, but it's a passion Bev and I have. And I want to thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jim, I have a question.
Yes.
Has there ever been one district that had both trophies at the same time?
I think the 5th district have to have both trophies at the same time. Just saying.
And we've been second ever since.
Because he said he scheduled and had rain 4, and then it was given to someone his grade. It's constantly on there, back and forth, and Robert's like, well, get one in, well, no, Robert, it's you guys,
Is that like a flag when we come to capture?
It's that.
As they wander back to their seats there. Is there anything else going for the American Legion Riders? Yes.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, before you go to the bathroom.
I'm post 148 in Riverview. The only reason I bring this up is I know everybody's doing fundraisers this year and next year, but we have an extremely important and very large fundraiser that we're doing next March. March 19th to be specific, St. Patrick's Day. We have a member that currently is in a wheelchair who enjoys riding right now, but he is not independent. So our fundraiser is to help him not only purchase a wheelchair accessible van, but to adapt that van to his wheelchair so that he can be independent for the first time in almost 6 years.
And he is a rider.
He is a rider. He's also a long-term member of the American Legion. I plan on, as the director, sending all the posts in the state a letter with an explanation of not only the event, but of Ed's condition. Appreciate any support that anyone's willing to provide to us.
One other ad to hers, I'm her husband Tom, or Mr. Angie, as everybody else says. We're doing a gun raffle for that event also. The ticket is only $5. It's a $700 value. It's a Springfield Army XD40.
I know we're cutting into the Legion with their raffle, but I gotta put my plug out. If you want anything, see me up at the hospitality room.
Real quick.
Very short. 9 p.m. tonight, in honor of all of our fallen heroes, and most especially Colin Powell, whose service and funeral and interment were yesterday. I'm doing taps again at 9 p.m.
Motion to adjourn. Uncover. Sergeant Arnold retrieved the POWMA fell from the empty chair.
Heavenly Father, as we come to the end of our time together, we thank you for what has been accomplished here today. We thank you for those who took out their time of their busy schedules to attend this meeting of the American Legion Riding Department of Florida. May the matters discussed here today serve as a